Good morning. This is Laura from Healthy Carnivore. Sorry, my camera's being weird. We'll see if this is going to behave. I'm not positive. As you can see in the background, out my back door there, we've got well over a foot of snow right now, and now we're getting rain that's turning to ice, so fun day. I am not on call this weekend, so happy about that. Anyway, I'm going to show you how I get my ribeye fat from my butcher. Some butchers are kind of weird about selling you ribeye fat or beef trimmings. You could do either one. Some of them are a little weird, so I'm not a big proponent of lying to them, but I'm not above saying that I have a deer and I need some beef fat to mix with. I don't have to do that with mine because they're fine with it, but I know other places are being kind of weird about it. So if you go to the butcher shop, you could send maybe your husband in if they don't know him and have him try to just buy ribeye fat. If that doesn't work, you go in later and say, hey, we have a deer, we're going to process it, and we need to mix some beef fat with that. Can I get, 10, 15 pounds, whatever you want to do. So I don't have to do that. If you live anywhere near Fairway stores, they're fine with it. Of course, I live in the Midwest, so not everybody, but a lot of people deer hunt. So I'm going to go over what I do. So this is just one of the bags that I have. I usually get 3 or 4 bags like this per month. Pretty easy. And then what I do is I have these game bags that I use, and I put about a pound and a half in there, and I will use one of those per day pretty easily. Boy, that was a good catch. All but one that my cat's gonna get. All right. Oh, smoky. Here in a little bit. Okay, so I'm not going to do all of this and show you. I'm just going to kind of show you a few pieces of what I do. And you don't have to do it this way. This is just what I found convenient for me because you can fry this up in cast iron skillet if you have one. You can do it in a regular ceramic skillet. I do have some of those as well. So I'll kind of show you how I do mine. You can use these in the air fryer. They are wonderful. I'm going to do some of that here in a little bit. My next video will be on, I'm not sure. I'm going to do like 3 videos today, but one of them is going to be making tallow that I'm going to save in a container so that my husband can use that like out in the garage for cooking fish, if he wants fish, if he does French fries. I mean, I'd rather he didn't eat that way, but at least I'd rather him cook it in tallow versus seed oil. And I'm going to do a video on some seed oils too. So about this size is what they come, the guys that cut mine. And then I just cut them into about like 1-inch strips, just little pieces, about that size. Okay. So that's what I do with mine. Interesting thing I do every day that I wanted to go over a little bit today while I'm doing some of this is if you're not doing grounding every day, you can do it by going out and just hugging a tree. I know your neighbors will think you're crazy. You can do it by going out barefoot. I scooped snow this morning barefooted for probably 5 minutes, which I was really proud of because it's definitely below zero, or not below zero, but it's definitely below freezing. But just to discharge that energy into the earth is something that's really good for us. I thought it was kind of foo-foo and not true or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like, really? But when you're a kid and you play out in the grass and sand and stuff, and you just feel so good when you're done, and you've gotten rid of all that, energy, stuff like that. I definitely think there's something to it. I did actually hang on to a voltage meter with my shoes on, stepped out on the ground because my husband was like, yeah, right. And held on to the voltage meter here, stepped on wet pavement, because that's going to conduct, wet's going to conduct. It read 0. Took my shoes, socks off, stood in exactly the same place. I don't remember what it read, but I know that the meter definitely, showed discharging of energy. So there is something to it. I don't know. I feel better when I do that. And when I try to get first light being outside light, that tends to help me feel better, I think. So it's just something that you can do. You can add to it. Try to shut off your screens and computers and things like that, an hour before you go to bed. That light really does affect how you sleep. All right. Just kind of show you what I do here. Now, this is not even close to full, of course, but so that's what I do. I just mark what I have in there and the date I'm doing it. That's the thing that I do. And like I said, it's just easier for me because then it's in these packages. I take out, maybe I might take out deer burger. I might take out regular burger, ribeye. What's the other steak I was doing a lot of? Oh, porterhouses. And they do have a lot of fat, but I'm doing about a 50-50 fat ratio to protein, and I do not count, weigh, measure anything. I eat until I am fully satiated, and when I say that, not that if you take another bite you're going to get sick, but you're like, this doesn't even look good anymore. Kind of that way is what I do. As a nurse, I do tend to eat too fast, and I'm trying to work on that because it's not healthy for you. The other thing I would recommend is if you're somebody that has like GI upset, any kind of like acid reflux, things like that, after you eat, even if you've went to this way of eating, just know that it does, for one, take time to heal all of the gut. The microbiome needs to reset. Your small intestine is not supposed to have a bunch of bacteria in it, but we have somehow ruined our guts, and that's where a lot of bacteria ends up, which is called SIBO. It's supposed to be in the large intestine, supposed to be in the gut, not supposed to be in the small. So that causes a lot of issues. A lot of people have that leaky gut syndrome. This way of eating is definitely something that will improve that, if not completely get rid of that diverticulitis. Not a doctor, I am a nurse. Research anything I say. I always say trust but verify. It doesn't help me to lead people the wrong way. I'm not doing this to make money. I give away my advice for free if people want to contact me. I just want everybody to feel the best that they can. Don't forget, go out, and I'm not selling these, but Kerry Mann on Homestead How, he is doing a documentary, and you can buy shirts, you can buy these water bottles. He's got Johnny, gosh darn it, I don't remember the guy, the person's, I'll have to look it up. Anyway, if you go on this Kerry Mann's YouTube channel, he does have these. He's got salt shaker, little holders that you can carry, stuff like that. That does help so that we can do a documentary where we are going to be able to have all of these people that Kerry and Adam and some other people are going to be following closely for a year to see like where they started and where they end in just in that year's time. And the types of healing. So I always say trust but verify. Follow lots of doctors out there that are doing this. There's several open heart surgeons, neurosurgeons, orthopedic surgeons, general practitioners, nephrologists, which are kidney specialist doctors. There's a lot of those guys now seeing that this high protein, high fat is not hard on kidneys. And we definitely were taught that. I was taught that in nursing school. Hands down was taught that. If I had to give a percentage, about 60% of what I was taught in my nursing school, and I went to a damn good nursing school, has 100% pass rate, 100% passing the NCLEX first time. So it's a very good school, and they do pound, the stuff into your brain. I would say 60% of what I learned was not true. And I knew that going in because I had already been keto for decades prior to that. So I already knew the fallacy of like seed oils, maltodextrin and different stuff like that. So I went into it with my eyes wide open, which I'm glad, because I just knew I had to remember what they wanted us to be taught and get rid of it on the test and then let her go. Especially when I started working in a cath lab, stuff like that. You saw these people come in that had been on statins for 30 years, eating low fat, hadn't had saturated fat, hadn't had a piece of bacon in over 30 years, and they're having heart attacks. And so that really kind of definitely opened up my eyes to educating them. So that's what I do now. I educate people as to what they can do to help their body. So just know, if you're having trouble, if you've started this way of eating, if you don't have a gallbladder, there are things out there like ox bile, salts, which I used in the very beginning to kind of help break down the fat and get it moved on, because our gallbladders have gotten lazy. So the muscle gets floppy because it doesn't require bile to break down super hyper processed foods that are already broke down to mush and to starch and sugar. So you don't need any. So it like gets in there stuck. You make sludge, you make stones that you may not even know you have until you adopt this way of eating. And you may start to go, oh, I had a stone. It was from this diet. It's not actually from the diet. The stone was there. The sludge was there. It's that eating this way uses the bile. So it comes out, and then your stones get smaller. The sludge tries to come out, as it should. But just know that is something that can happen. Just be mindful of that. I do recommend, my father-in-law did this with his stones. He did an apple cider and an olive oil drink. I think he also put lemon and water in it. But anyway, no, that's not going to be considered carnivore because you're adding lemon. But if it helps break down stones small enough to where you can pass them, I really don't care. And neither should you. You can get back to whatever style of carnivore you do. Everybody's is different. So anyway, bile salts, if you're having trouble, do not drink water. Don't drink any of your fluids as much as you possibly can. I say about a half an hour before, none while you're eating, except a little sip here or there. And then I try to avoid drinking, like especially a big amount of water, till at least an hour after I've eaten. And that's just so you can allow those processes to take place. The enzymes, the acids, you don't want to water those down. That's what's breaking down the food into molecules that your body can use. So you definitely want to be careful. But that's something I would do. And that's just throwing it out there. So I'm going to get to doing the rest of this. I'm going to get these packaged up, put in my freezer. And then I will be making another video that I'll put out. I'm not sure if I'll put it out today or tomorrow, but I'm excited. And I hope you guys have a good day. Hopefully you're not getting feet of snow where you're at, unless you really, really like snow. I do have a four-wheel drive truck, but my husband has it right now at work. So since I didn't have to leave the house, he took the truck, which is okay. All right, you guys have a wonderful day. If you have questions, leave them. If you want to talk to me personally, my email is underneath my description on this. I have Pinterest, Facebook. I'm kicked out of Facebook a lot. I'm in jail a ton because I'm also a patriot and a prepper. So anyway, you can find me in those other places. But if you have any questions, you want to see me do a video on something that maybe I don't have up on my YouTube channel, put that in the comments. But if you have questions and you want to email me personally, that's absolutely no problem. I will absolutely get back to you. I'd say I get back to everybody within less than 24 hours. So we'll just see. Anyway, as I always say, meet, heat, eat, and repeat.